it was discontinuing its Galaxy Note 7 smartphone after multiple recalls. The phone has been an expensive, to say the least, headache for the electronics manufacturer. Our resident tech expert Colin Baker joins us now with the latest update. Okay, Colin, just give us a little plot history of what has happened.
Well, the Samsung Note 7 was to be very much the flagship of their selection. You might know it. It's what we call a phablet. So a very large smartphone akin to a tablet. And it was the one with the stylus. Totally waterproof, gorgeous piece of hardware. We actually saw the first one that came in. And, it has to be said, really to be expected of Samsung. Very well engineered, very well designed. And this was completely unexpected, I think, from all fronts.
Right. Problems occurred.
Back in September. Now, we've seen this type of thing go viral before. Remember when the iPhone 6 came out, they were reputedly bending very easily in people's pockets. Of course, all it was like bait and clickbait on social media. So when reports first started coming out, I think the industry were a little bit skeptical of the likelihood of these things actually blowing up. Because they weren't actually blowing up. They were getting very, very hot, expanding, and in some cases smoking, and actually starting to go on fire, particularly if they were beside something on a garment or on fabric or beside the bed.
Now, we've all felt our phones get hot, but there are safety features in the phone which, as soon as it goes above a certain temperature, cooling process starts.
Exactly.
That was
or
not happening.
Or a cutout, and often you might see on your iPhone or your smartphone that it says, too hot to run.
Yeah.
Wait 10 minutes and try again. So they do have fail-safes built in. I think people forget that battery technology, smartphone technology, chargers, they all have the potential to be a risky product, to be dangerous. There's built-in fail-safes. That's why I always say to people not to repair them with Band-Aids and sellotape and whatnot.
Now, obviously, maybe the first time or two it went viral, people weren't paying much attention, but very quickly this became a widespread problem.
Absolutely.
And they recalled all of those, and they said, we think it's something to do with the batteries, we're going to sort all that out.
They had a very angry discussion with the supplier of the batteries back in early September, and they decided it has to be the batteries. Now, remember, statistically, it's about 35 units in a million that are affected or have this problem, or at least show this problem. So in terms of testing these things, obviously there's regulations. These things have been very thoroughly tested. So it's quite possible that Samsung themselves don't really know what's caused this problem. You take the charred remains
They do know
of the
that
smartphone.
it's not the batteries. That
No,
it's
not the battery, because they've taken that out of the equation. They replaced the batteries and changed the supplier, and the replacements had the same problem.
Now, this has led to the line being discontinued, which is a huge, from a PR point of view, commercially, stock price, etc. This is an enormous disaster.
There's 2.5 million handsets out there. There's 700 odd euro.
And they've wiped potentially 15 billion off their share. No, they're an enormous
They're speculating at the moment. Say 15, some people say 17 billion.
Right, okay. Practical matters. There weren't that many of them sold in this country. I think
very few.
A couple of hundred?
In terms of who I'm talking to, we're looking at about 150 to 200.
Right. If you are one of those, you should be getting a message from either your authorised dealer or from Samsung.
A friend of mine had one. He actually got a letter in the post, believe it or not. Obviously, if you got it through a retailer or a business partner, straight back to them.
But they're saying no, they don't want you to even handle it.
Yes,
so they're
actually sending
a box, oven gloves.
Well, not quite oven gloves. I don't know where you got that from.
Gloves.
Oven gloves. I love that. Catherine Odlums might have a few sets.
Well, there you go.
Well, I think obviously they released the message very, very quickly, in fairness to Samsung, that customer safety was obviously their absolute first priority, and that everybody who had these phones was to turn off immediately, was to stop using them, and was to contact their provider, be it their network or their retailer or wherever they bought them online, or Samsung themselves. They've actually dealt with it very, very quickly. Opinion is mixed about
you're losing
how they
billions
responded.
by the day. You tend to do that.
Absolutely, but making moves globally like that can be very, very difficult. When you're dealing with 2.5 million handsets, an absolute mix of different markets and different distribution networks. They have said and we've had companies before, by the way, who've had problems with product and tried to sweep it under the mat, or change the story or spin things. Samsung have been really, really open about it.
Okay, there's only possibly 100 or so people in this country who may have one of these. Switch it off, don't touch it, contact the person you bought it off. You will be contacted, you will be sent this safety package, and it will be dealt with.
And bear in mind, it's a tiny figure.
Yes.
We don't quite need to go running for the hills.
The other thing too is you want to be fair to Samsung. All the rest of their products are top notch.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No problems with them.
Look, we've
whatsoever.
seen these things happen.
And by the way, they
before.
will refund your money, or they will give you another device.
No, they're very, very thorough about their response, about the solutions for people who've been affected, and about what exactly has happened and the extent of how that's happened.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for that, and thank you for wearing a shirt that actually fits you for once.
Yeah, it's unusual, isn't it? That was your advice.
Nobody comes in here and looks like Bruce Banner just about to burst out of his t-shirt.
It's my laundry regime.
You just make us all feel unfit and inferior, so thank you for not doing that today. Now, still to come, we'll be meeting two slimmers who shed a staggering